Hi everyone, so in this video I will be showing you 4 ways to fill up your sketchbook. So the first way is to use variations of a color, so like a monochrome painting. There's been a trend where you try to use all your art supplies that are in one color, but this is just picking like a few colors, like some cool tones of pink and some warm tones of pink, and you try to make an illustration of them. So here I'm showing you all the different shades of pink that I have off these brush markers. They're just like the Artist Loft brush markers, and I'm just getting light ones, dark ones, like warm, cool, and I drew a little illustration and I just colored it in with all these different tones so that it gives like a different like pop, like, oh, I don't know what to do, let's do this. So I just drew a quick little sketch. It's not that good. It's upside down. The setup turned out weird, but I'm just using whatever pink I could find. Honestly, that's in this brush marker form. They're water based, they're not alcohol based markers, so they're not bleeding through, and you can stop whenever you want, and you don't have to use warm and cool. You can just use warm pinks and stuff and do something like that. So I'm just coloring it in and going from lightest to darkest and getting those different tones in. So now I'm using blue and I'm swatching them out. I do recommend swatching them because some of the colors I picked out didn't work, so I ended up not using them. So that's a really big thing. Swatch your colors before you use them or make an illustration. That goes with anything. So I swatched out all my blues, and instead of writing them out, I just did little blocks, and I put them, I think, in different piles depending if I was going to use it or not. So these were all blues, and then as I went to these last few ones, they're more green blues, so I didn't know if I was going to like it. So that last one on the edge there, I didn't want it, so I didn't use it, but I used all other colors, which is why you should swatch, because you could have ended up using that. And yeah, so then I make another illustration. Again, it's not the greatest, but it's okay. So I'm just crossing it out, tell myself that I'm not using it, put them all, the markers that I am using, to one side and make a quick illustration. This one I just went in blocking it. I went dark to light. It doesn't matter. And I was blending with these markers, coloring it in, using all these different tones of blue to do something interesting. Because another thing that this can help you with is your value. So if you're having a really hard time finding contrast in the form of value, you would use this. So it doesn't have to be black and white. So this is basically black and white but in different colors. So you learn where light blues would look best. So if you put a light blue next to a light blue, it might not look the greatest. So in your illustration, you might not put a light purple next to a light yellow, if you understand what I mean. So this just helps with practicing value and knowing where to place different tones of a color. So that would just help you practice to make your art more visually pleasing. So these, again, just writing what it would help you with. So it would help you with learning values, I wrote, and also it's just cool. It's like monochrome, like it looks good. So the next thing that I recommend that you can do is drawing something that are all one color. So I picked the color orange, and I picked I searched up different things that are orange and I drew them. So this is just like an exercise that you can do when you just don't know what to draw, but you want to draw something. So I just searched it up. I went to images and I picked out just a bunch of different things. So like in that sheet had a bunch of different orange things. So I was like, okay, starfish. So starfishes are yellow. You can practice draw a starfish. I drew one of each thing, but this can help you like, no, like you didn't know how to draw starfish before. You can go in depth with drawing starfish and learn like about them and how to draw them. And you could do that with a bunch of things. And you could do it with all different colors. Or something else you could do is do it with 2 colors. So then if you find a good color scheme, like let's say you found pink and blue, you'd find something pink and put that item next to something blue that kind of correlates, and that could help like make a cool like piece. So here I just skipped all the different things, but I did draw a bunch. I draw starfish, pumpkin, tiger lily, carrot, basketball, and a butterfly. Now, the 4th thing that you could do is a challenge. So I did the ballpoint pen challenge. So that's basically when you make an illustration or drawing out of only using a pen. No pencil, no eraser. It's a 1 art supply. And this can help if you don't have something nearby. You just take what's around you and you're using your resources to make something really cool. And this could also help you with being lighter. If you're heavy-handed, you can't start drawing the outline of it with really dark, because if you mess up, you don't want that line to show as much. So it will help you getting light-handed. It will help you with values too, because it's 1 color. You're not using other colors for contrast. You're using value for contrast. So, and it will help you with not erasing. If you have a bad habit of erasing, then it's like, you can't erase. So you have to learn how to, okay, I have to plan ahead for my steps before I do them, so that I make a nice artwork and I do something that looks pleasing. So it will help you with stuff like that and getting those things right. And so here I'm just drawing a random girl. I think I just made it up, and she is just standing there. If you want, you can, this is a really stiff pose, but you can do more fluid poses and stuff. And just try working with that pen and going into detail. You could try cramming in as much detail or making a really simple illustration, whatever you want. There's so much freedom that you can use. Even if it's just 1 art supply, there's so much freedom that you can make. So this final, last but not least tip that I have for you is the scribble art. It's not the scribble art challenge, but it's really fun. I got this from Wendy Iris Art, so all credits go to her, but it's really cool. When I do this, it's really fun. Basically, what you do, you take any colored pen, black, pink, white, whatever. See what I'm doing? You scribble. It's so cool. You just scribble all that you want. And once you're done with those scribbles, you know what you do? You color them in. It's so fun. Like, you just color it in. I've done this a few times before. I've done it in this sketchbook before. I've done it in other sketchbooks. You can add detailing to it. It looks really cool. You just look. That looks like stained glass. Like, I love how it looks out. How it turns out. And you could pick the weirdest color scheme that you may never have thought to work with. Like, any random colors. And I feel like it just looks good. So, I did it, and you could add detailing with white gel pens. You could add any type of detailing you want. If you're really up for it, you could even color that in with washi tape. I bet you someone can do that. So all I'm doing, I'm taking those brush markers that I used in the first tip, and I'm just coloring it in where the lines intersect and make little shapes. I'm just coloring those in, and I think that when I was coloring this, I was trying to pick random colors. I don't know if I was just experimenting with it, but any color I feel like looks so good in this. Like, it just looks great. So I'm coloring it, and you can switch up colors. You can use 2 colors. You can use 1 color if you want to. You can make every doll a different color, and I feel like it would still look good. Another time I did designs in them instead of just coloring, so I did both. Like, I did colors and designs out of colors, anything, and I did it with my friend, and it looked really good. So that's how I do it. So to wrap up, these are my 4 ways to fill up your sketchbook. I hope that they were creative things that you didn't think of before, and that you use them. Have fun filling up your sketchbook. Be happy and create amazing art.